Hi, and welcome to this overview of a brand new secondary course by Ellie Publishing called Ready for Planet English at 5 levels. And I'm going to look at some of the materials from the current 3 levels available, the elementary, pre-intermediate and intermediate. And in the autumn of this year, 2022, as I record this, the foundations and upper intermediate levels will be available. Now, we want the students to feel completely engaged and motivated by topical and very, very meaningful, purposeful texts and ideas and activities for them to be working with a global language alongside the grammar and vocabulary input that they need for their lessons. The cross-curricular approach to the course is absolutely essential that students work with other subjects in English. As we know, that's content and language integrated learning. It's really important that although they work with structures and functions for English, that they are learning about the world around them. It also looks at the sort of life skills that we're teaching students these days, such as communicating effectively, obviously that's English, but also how they collaborate and how they evaluate the content that they see. Their critical thinking skills have to be part of what they're doing. It's all very well learning English and then reading about it, but how are they going to use that with others? How are they going to communicate, and how are they going to evaluate what they see and then communicate their own responses in English? The course also gives students tips and strategies for learning as they go, including material linked to international exams, such as the Cambridge exams. Beautifully, there are authentic videos throughout the course, including a little sitcom with some teenagers to give the students exposure to real English, and that's what we want them to think of. It's not a subject for school. English is a skill for life. The components are very straightforward. We have student's book, workbook. Both have digital aspects to them. So when you buy the print book, you have a unique code, and that would activate the digital book for whiteboard use or for remote teaching on the LE Digital Hub platform. More of that later. Teacher's book has, as all of the LE Publishing teacher's books have, loads and loads of ideas, the rationale, and all the support you need as a teacher to prepare these lessons fully, and of course differentiate with mixed abilities with online resources too. The levels all follow the same format. I'm just going to look here at the elementary and pre-intermediate level. 10 units, each double page spreads of 10 pages each. And they start with a welcome unit to recap, activate grammar, vocabulary, and there's an entry test too to check where you're at with your class. And then you'll see the layout there, the structure of the lessons, 2 presentations, new grammar points in each by varying levels and topics of texts with vocabulary and listening to follow. Then there's a video of some sort. It could be documentary or a conversation with 2 teens in the book. And there are language skills practice too, and a quick check, which is a multiple choice page to kind of summarize in question format, if the students have fully understood the grammar, the vocab and the functions. And there are online worksheets to go with the Ready for Planet English course, and they are connected to the Sustainable Development Goals. As we know, this is a crucial part of teaching these days, and it's vital that it's in English language teaching lessons, because if we're going to teach content meaningful, then it doesn't get much better than trying to get our students to be positive citizens in the world and making a difference. And sustainable development goals have become a huge part of many curricula around the world. So the book and the whole series covers that too. The intermediate level is a very similar approach, also 10 units in the level, and there you'll see just a slight difference, the video and global skills there, and use of English instead of the language skills. Let me flip back. So there you see video and life skills, and then language skills. We'll look at these in a moment. But in the intermediate level, you have video and global skills and use of English, which appropriately would take us more into exam preparation territory. At the back of the students' books, you'll see there, if you want to pause this video, you'll see reference material, including maps and verb tables for the students to either work with on their own or for you to refer to as you go through the course. And you'll see there are references throughout the course to go to the back of the book and link with that material. Slightly different in the intermediate level. And here, if you want to pause it, take a look at a typical contents page, which takes you through the 10 units and the grammar, the lexis, the video content and the language skills with the pronunciation. And of course, there are digital components with this course that allows the students to listen and practice their pronunciation of the new vocabulary and phrases. So let's take a look. Here we have a nice topic about the world. This is a typical presentation number 1, where it's a text comprehension and introducing the structures here, which is we've got some comparatives and superlatives going on there. So new lexis, a topic for discussion later, and getting the students activated and thinking about their grammar and vocabulary to come. There we go, there's the box. And that will link to the grammar reference and practice at the back of the book, as we'll see. And there's presentation 2, usually an interview or a magazine article as well. So the students are learning about the world around them as well as doing language work. And you can see there that when you see cert, we know that the material in this part of the book throughout the course will be linked to exam preparation. The critical thinking part will occur throughout the whole course, as we want the students not just to do a speaking activity for the sake of it, we want them to really consider their own thoughts and views around the things that they read. Ready for Planet English will give the students tips for watching out for false friends or things about language that they should really take notice of. They have to watch out. And then at the throughout each unit, there is a link to the grammar in depth. Now, this is usually a 1-page grammar feature with a summary of the grammar points in more detail and some comprehension and some testing just to see if they've really understood the structure. At the bottom there, you'll see it's linked to more thorough reference and practice at the back. And we'll see later some workbook material. So, you know, throughout the topics and the lexical approach to all of the units, you've got a strong and thorough grammatical approach to Ready for Planet English. Then in the unit, there is a vocabulary and listening section where they take the lexis further, build up their vocab, do some listening practice, and you'll see at the bottom it's linked to further aspects of vocabulary teaching, including pronunciation, at the back of the book. And there we have some of the video work which the students can do. They do video and life skills in these early levels and video and global skills. Let's take a quick look at one of the documentaries.
Adi Adepitan is on an adventure. He's travelling to Ghana to find out what happens to all the second-hand clothes people from Europe don't want.
Oh my word, that shirt that you gave away last week, or those trousers, or those unwanted shoes, have ended up here. It's good stuff?
This is the best quality.
Ralph Lauren, wow. Even though we give away our second-hand clothes for free, some of the world's poorest people pay good money for them. Why don't you buy Ghanaian clothes? Why are you only buying second-hand European clothes?
I don't have money. Money is small. Yes.
Complete. Ya pamle dada.
Adi meets some locals who spend their time making changes to the second-hand clothes.
So what's going on here? Excuse me, sir. Could you tell me what you're doing, please?
I'm ironing.
Ironing. You've got to love this place. There's a guy just over there who's turning trousers into skirts. You've got this guy here who's adding dye to jeans, making old second-hand jeans look brand new. You've got this guy who's ironing. You've got a whole mini factory all based around second-hand clothing.
Adi travels to the countryside, where he speaks to an historian about the cultural importance of traditional clothing in Ghana.
There were times that we could not read and write, and so we were keeping our history in the clothes that we wear.
So are traditional prints still as popular? Not just kente, but the traditional clothing?
Second-hand clothing brought in from Europe and America. It's cheaper, far cheaper. If we are not very careful, sometime, somewhere, someday, we would not see some of our own things anymore.
Addy travels to the city to find out what people there think about traditional clothing.
Could we have a show of hands, right? If you were going out on a Saturday night, how many of you here would wear traditional clothing on a Saturday night?
Definitely. A couple of years back, it was cool to be only European. Now it's cooler to be African.
Addy discovers that even if second-hand European clothes are popular, it's much cooler to be African.
Darsha and Harry are the two amusing teenagers who have light-hearted conversations to highlight language and functions. In language skills, they're taking the topic further and getting the students into practicing their reading, writing, listening and speaking much more. Again, a link to the exams there. And of course, as you can see in this example with vegan and eco clothing, very, very topical and important issues for the students to read about in English and again, to respond to. You'll see their learn to learn there as well. So, as I said, study strategies are also a key strand as the students work through Ready for Planet English. At the end of each unit, there is Quick Check, which is a multiple choice page where the students have a chance to show you if they've understood the grammar, the vocabulary, and the functions in each unit. And it's quick marking. So in the digital book, that's interactive, as all the exercises are, in something called Ellie Digital Hub, whose details I'll show you before we finish this overview. And in the intermediate level, you have use of English instead of language skills. So we're getting the students much more prepared for international examinations in English. So the course really does emphasize topics that are going to engage the students at this age group and level. We want them to be thinking about the sort of things they might study, or the world of work, or even consider how they are learning as students and how, of course, the world of learning has changed so much. At the back of the students' books, they vary. In the elementary and pre-intermediate levels, you have grammar reference, word plus, irregular verbs, punctuation and phonetics, verb tables, and UK, USA maps. We've got audio scripts at the end of all of the books, of course, to go with the listening. And in the intermediate, you have the grammar reference and a writing bank. So let's take a quick look at that. And as I said earlier, these are linked to the little boxes of grammar mentioned in each of the units, with some, again, study tips as they go along. In Words Plus, at the back of the book, this is a visual presentation to show lexical sets. You can use it to extend the vocabulary, maybe practicing combining it with the elements in the original unit, and you can personalize the vocabulary, think about how they organize their learning, and do freer practice by using the images. And there are some guided exercises for you to use as you go along. There's another example there with sustainable living. We have again a nod to covering the sorts of topics which the students will be doing throughout their school years anyway, and why not include them in their English lessons. These are the reference parts of the book at the back with the regular verb tables, punctuation and phonetics, verb tables with conjugations, and you have detailed maps of the United States and Great Britain. And in the writing bank, you can see examples of specific writing styles with some exercises there with writing tips. There's a travel blog, or maybe getting the students to think about writing essays, of course. And so these writing banks will give the student model texts for developing their writing and structuring the way that they write. There's something for the world of work as we get them ready to leave school and use their English. audio scripts again. This is from the intermediate at the back of the book. Now let's take a look at the workbook material, which could actually be used as extended classroom material, because a lot of it's in colour, or you could use it for differentiation activities and exercises. So here we have a text, much like you'd see in the students' book, and the students can either work at home, or you could use it as additional material, or for recap, or maybe using the following week to see if they are still in tune with that topic and the language. This is all from the workbook. Again, look at the global feel to this book, and now more regular workbook activity and exercises here. It's nice to see it in colour. In the teacher's book, you have an overview, complete overview of the methodology and approach to the book, and the layout and the way the units are put together, with lots of cultural notes and ideas and tips for teaching, lesson plans, tips for the students, cultural notes, and of course tests and resources that go with each of the units. The digital resources for the course go on the new LE Digital Hub. The website's down there, and when you buy the print book, as I said, you get a unique code that goes into activating your book online, and the students can do the same with their unique codes, and then you can work online, hybrid teaching, remote teaching, or simply use the course book in any way you like in the classroom. And remember that the activities and exercises are interactive online, so you can see exactly how the students could work online, for example, at home. LE Link is a wonderful feature, an app you can download for the smartphone, and you can hold the phone over parts of each book and see the text and then play the audio as a result of the scan. Very slick, very useful, and great for working at home with the smartphone. If you want to see sample pages of Ready for Planet English, you can go to leonline.com, check out the contents pages, flick through some of the pages for all the levels, and for more details you can see on the website everything you need to know about the rationale for the book, the levels, and of course availability for the levels to come. So that's the Ready for Planet English course, age group 14 to 18, secondary level, 5 levels with foundations and upper intermediate, coming out in autumn of 2022.